Tonight in The Clash, believe it or not, some progressives' biggest hope for getting out their base is legalizing marijuana. Really. The thinking goes that if pot legalization goes on the ballots across the nation, win or lose, it'll attract more young people, more Democrats, and progressive independents to the polls. Take a look at this new poll. Only 41% of Americans say that pot should be legal, 52% say no. But when you ask young voters, 18 to 29-year-olds, guess what? The yes response jumps up to 58%, with only 39% against. So is this really smart politics for the Democrats? Jane Hamsher is the founder of the progressive blog FireDogLake.com, and Tim Rosales is with the No on Proposition 19 campaign in California. And you guessed it, that's the ballot initiative to legalize pot in California. Jane, I'm starting with you. Your mission is to drive out the youth vote with ballot initiatives to legalize weed. Why is this a good idea?
Well, our marijuana policy has failed, and that's why we're launching the Just Say No campaign with Students for Sensible Drug Policy. Americans consume $113 billion of marijuana every year. 50% of it comes from foreign sources, and that money is financing the Mexican drug cartels and exacerbating all of the violence along the Mexican border. There were over 6,000 people killed last year by the Mexican drug cartels, which now have a presence in 250 cities across the country. So we're joining with students and also law enforcement, law enforcement against prohibition to end this.
But Jane, the express mission of the campaign is not about what you've just described, but it's about using legalizing marijuana to get out the youth vote. Is that a politically savvy move?
If you actually go to the website Just Say Now, it actually is about legalizing marijuana. Now, we're mobilizing youth because they're the ones who care about it in overwhelming numbers. And polls have shown that they are 36% more likely to vote. They say they are much more likely to vote if marijuana legalization is on the ballot.
Really?
But I think it's a mistake to say that they're going to vote for Democrats, because many of the youth are just as likely to be Republican libertarians as they are to be Democrats.
So it's just to get the young people out and voting for whichever ballot, for whichever candidate.
Yeah.
Okay, Tim.
Well, it's a way to get candidates to support the policy in order to be able to get young voters to support them. You've got Ron Paul and Gary Johnson, who are both very big on marijuana legalization, who are both dipping their toes in the 2012 presidential pool. And they're already sort of making the circuit on the college campuses. So I think those votes are up for grabs.
Tim, let's get you in this conversation. A 2008 survey conducted by the Department of Health and Human Services estimated that more than 15 million people had used marijuana in the previous month. Could motivating that electorate be enough to influence a national election?
Well, first off, I think it's pretty tasteless to take a Just Say No campaign that was created in the 1980s to help get kids off drugs and use a play on words as this campaign is doing now, to just say now to try and legalize marijuana. But outside of that, I think that the efforts that they're going to undertake, I don't know that you can really influence a national campaign on something that has such widespread opposition. Here in California, there's opposition from both Senators Dianne Feinstein and Senator Barbara Boxer, as well as a number of Republicans as well. I think it's very difficult to motivate nationally on such kind of a niche issue like this.
And Tim, if Jane's group gets these initiatives on the ballot, do you think there's a motivated minority that will come out just to block the effort? Could it actually backfire politically?
Well, we did a survey here in California for No on Proposition 19, and what we found is that when you take a look at people who will vote no on marijuana legalization no matter what, that number was 44%. And the people who will vote yes on marijuana legalization no matter what is only 19%. So I think that they've got a pretty significant hill to climb, and I think there are many more people out there who realize that legalizing marijuana in the United States, they've tried it in Mexico. We've seen an explosion in drug violence. You would just be giving the Mexican drug cartels a platform, a legal platform to operate from here in the United States.
James,
I don't think that's a risk that a lot of Californians or even Americans want to take. It's pretty chaotic.
Jane, it's my understanding by our count that there are ballot initiatives to legalize marijuana in only 5 states right now, and the deadline for putting an initiative on the ballot is approaching in most states. So how much of an impact can this really have in this year's election?
Well, we're looking to mobilize in those states, to mobilize young voters, but also looking towards 2012. But I want to say something about the name of the campaign, yes. Just Say Now. Since 1984, when the Just Say No campaign started, our prison population in the United States has quadrupled. And that burden has fallen disproportionately on minority communities. It is a crime that these people are rotting away in jail. There were over 800,000 people arrested last year for marijuana possession alone. And those people are in jail at tremendous cost. Is this how we want to be raising our children?
Jane, you're not being genuine with your numbers. If you look at, you ask any district attorney or sheriff or even cop on the street here in California, and people do not get arrested for possessing a joint or possessing an ounce of weed.
Yes, they do, actually. There were 40,000 people.
It's $100.
In New York City alone last year, there were 40,000 people who were arrested.
If you look at California, 1,500 people are in jail for major drug crimes. That's it.
And the people who are on our board of directors are Bruce Fein, former Deputy Attorney General under Ronald Reagan, Neil Franklin, who is the head of the 33-year cop in the Maryland Police Force, who is the head of Law Enforcement Against Prohibition, LEAP. We've got Norm Stampers, former Seattle Police Chief. And these people know that they're being shot with the guns that are being bought by the money that is being provided to the Mexican cartel. And they want to stop.
This is a fight we're not going to resolve tonight.
I'll take Dianne Feinstein, and I'll take
You're welcome to Feinstein.
Let me interrupt you both. I just want to wrap with one question
here in California against this versus your list any day of the week.
All right, Jane, I just want to wrap with one question. Are we at a devastating point if the only way we can get young people to vote is by letting them vote to have drugs?
Well, I think that it's an important issue regardless of whether young people are for it or against it. Our drug policy has not worked. It's destabilizing the Mexican government. It's racist, and it is condemning the future of young people who are being busted for a joint and not able to apply for student loans or get a job anymore, and disproportionately people of color, African Americans and Latinos. We just ended the sentencing disparity between cocaine and crack. And so we're taking a look at this right now. We have 5% of the world's population and 25% of its prisoners. And conservative senators, like Senator Jim Webb, are saying this is just wrong.
All right.
And so, yes, I think it is something that we should be looking at right now. And it is a moral matter. And that young people care about it is to their test is a good thing.
Okay. I'm afraid we're going to leave it there. But I have a feeling if this is on many ballot initiatives across the country, we're going to revisit it in the elections to come. Thanks to both of you for being with us, Jane and Tim.